Thousands of loyal readers from all 50 states by subscribing today.
You can order yours right now at 314-345-9000 or simply go to cardinals.com/publications.
At the KSMO studios, time for our spotlight on the Salem Memorial District Hospital. Kathy Weldon has made her way in.
Yes,
Hey,
imagine
how are ya?
cold air and all.
Cold air and all. That's
Oh, my
right.
goodness.
That's right. Very good. And then all that means is that when we have Kathy come in, usually what it means is health fair time, and that's exactly what it means this time.
Yes, I can't believe health fair's next week.
Yeah, I mean, I was mentioning that just the other day. I said, and don't forget, SMDH Health Fair is next week. You know,
That's
like,
right.
It just doesn't seem right.
It seems like it's too soon.
Yeah.
I mean, the year's just flying by already. But yeah, we moved it up a week this year, and next week already. Wednesday and Thursday, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. at the Salem Community Center at the Armory.
Very good. And we still have those outstanding values to pass on to people.
Oh, yes.
And I'm telling you what.
It's a deal.
It is a deal, and there is no better time to start doing your own, well, I'm going to call it health maintenance, because this is a good way to get started. If you've never done this before, I highly recommend you do it every single time you can because of the prices that they offer. But if you've never done it before, this is definitely a must. If you can get away and get this done. Now, if you have to go to work at 8, it starts at 6. Get up a little earlier.
Yes.
Get in. Get it done. Doesn't take, 15, 20 minutes?
Well,
Max.
get registered and then come back, get your blood drawn, you're good to go.
Yeah, but you can fill out the form
Oh,
at
you can fill out the
home.
form. Yes, I actually have been collecting email addresses from participants.
Right.
And I've been emailing out the forms. So if you got an email here a couple of weeks ago, the form is good for all year.
Right.
So you can use that form each time you come, because we do have the health fairs 3 times a year.
Right.
So something else I want to mention, speaking of emails, is we now have our patient portal open at the hospital.
Okay.
So when you come to the health fair or to the hospital in general, make sure the registration clerk gets your email address, and the hospital will send you an email, and it will be an email to help you set up an account, an email account with the hospital.
Okay.
And then you can go in and print off your lab results anytime you want. So you'd be able to go in and get your health fair results. We mail them to the participant, but that takes a little bit of time, stuff in the envelope, having it go through the mail service. You can go on your patient portal and print them out before they ever come in the mail.
There you go. And of course, this is such a great service, Kathy, that the hospital provides to our community, and this is not a money-making
No, we do not
service.
make money on this.
And the cost involved. And I would like to talk a little bit about, we're going to talk about the test, obviously, in just a minute, but I want to talk about the background information that people probably don't know that has to go into this. Obviously, you guys, every year you review this to make sure you can afford these prices,
Right.
obviously. It's not something you're going to make money on, but then you already have to plan after every single one of these health fairs for the next one.
Yes.
Because you have to bring down accounting, because you're going to have to,
Right, we
do
have
that.
to have the business
The
office
business
there,
office has to be there.
the registration clerks.
They got to have the high Wi-Fi. It has to be
Yes.
fast.
IT has to come
Yeah.
down.
Okay.
Our
So-
dietitian comes down, and we have been offering food at the health fairs recently too. So
Right.
some kitchen staff,
Good.
respiratory therapy comes
Right.
down. The lab, we have like six or seven people there.
Right. I think physical therapy is their
Physical
last
therapy
there.
comes
Yeah,
down.
okay.
Some nurses come to do
Right.
blood pressure.
Absolutely.
So
And then to box up all the needed supplies.
yes.
Okay. So that starts way before the health fair.
Oh yes.
Because you have to prepare, but you got to move all those supplies in.
And
this
our
is,
wonderful maintenance department,
Mm-hmm.
we set all of our supplies in one area, and they bring them down for us, and so they're great.
so here's the thing people probably don't realize. You do this fair twice, Wednesday, Thursday. So you bring all this stuff down Wednesday. You take it all back out Wednesday, and you bring it all back Thursday.
Yes.
That's insane.
Yes. Well, we keep it there at the center, but
You
still,
have to tear it down.
yes, we have to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you have
set
to
it
tear
out
all
and tear it back
But
down.
I mean, you still have to. You got to take all. Well, I should take everything back. You have to take all the samples back.
Oh, yes,
You
all
have
the
to take all the
samples.
paperwork back. Everything has to go back. That's filled out all the little forms that we have here. I mean, everything has to go back to the hospital, and it has to. You're kind of doing the same thing twice. So if you got the people collecting checks there, then they got to bring them back, and they have to go back to the system, back in administration, right?
Right.
So kind of a dual layer effort, but it works so good, and with the extra room at the community center instead of backing up people in the hospital like we used to do.
Right. Yes.
You know, those lines got long.
We enjoy bringing people out to the hospital, but the health fair has gotten so large that we did not have the space to do that. You know,
Right.
to have several hundred people come in such a short amount of time.
I remember last time at outpatient care, I think the line went back to the hallway going down to past radiology. That's
Yeah.
a long line.
That's a long line,
and,
yes.
You know, but it's a great service to the community. So let's get right to it and tell people, first off, this is the most affordable health fair you will find in the area, and people from out of the area actually come to this health fair.
Yes, we have some doctors in Rolla that come to our health fair. They come at least once a year, sometimes 2 or 3 times a year to take advantage of this. We get several people from the Rolla area that
Right.
come.
I know a couple from Dixon showed up last year.
Yes, Steelville, Union. We have somebody from Union that comes down and takes advantage of the health fair. Sullivan, I mean, they just really
Yeah.
come from far away. And it's such a great community benefit. It really is.
And not only are the prices that we talk about with some of these tests incredible, but you got some freebies as well.
Yes.
You know?
Yes, and whether you come and do the lab work or not, there are other screening tests that are free that are there available for you. We have free blood pressure.
Right.
We have a grip strength and
Right.
balance testing,
Lung
a
functioning.
lung function screening test, you know, check your body fat. And I did say blood pressure, didn't
You
I?
did, you
Yes,
did,
that's
yeah.
very important.
You did. Very good. And these are all free. You don't
And
even
they're
have
free,
to. You don't have
yes.
to do a thing. Just walk in the door, and they'll do
Yeah,
these
don't
tests
even
for
have
you.
to
Don't
go
have to sign
through
a thing.
registration
Nope.
or anything.
And then go get a cup of coffee afterwards and go home.
Yes.
So not only that, you get some free coffee.
Free
and you
coffee.
Get
We have some free
tests.
snacks.
But that's really not what the health fair is all about. The health fair is for you to kind of get a picture of where you stand right today with your health through your blood tests and other tests that show different possibilities that we may have a deficiency.
Right. You know,
Such as.
I have to talk about the health fair profile.
Let's go for it.
Because this is the most bang for your buck. So your health fair profile includes a complete blood count. It includes a whole comprehensive metabolic panel. Checks for your liver function, your kidney function, your glucose, your electrolytes, some of your minerals like calcium.
Iron.
Yeah, we also include an iron with that, and we do a uric acid. It also includes a lipid profile, which is why we recommend that people be fasting when they come in for that test. You know, have water, take your medicine, don't eat. Now, if you're diabetic and you have to eat, I mean, please go ahead and eat. But if possible, try to be fasting, you know, up to 12 hours.
Right. We say 12 hours is the best.
Yes.
You know.
You don't want it to go too long because then your body kind of does a reverse and starts metabolizing, you know, your fat storage and everything, and that creates different kind of results. But a good 10 to 12 hours is a good amount of time to fast.
Yeah, and so that's what you have said in the past. And, you know, 10 hours, people usually do it because you eat in the evening, have your dinner, you know, up an hour or two, go to bed, get up in the morning, get an hour and get over there before your coffee. Do not have your coffee first. Get over there and go through your test and then have your cup
And then
of
have your
coffee.
coffee. We'll have the coffee
Good.
right
And
there
it'll
for
be nice
you.
and hot, too.
Yes.
And so check that out. And it doesn't take very long. As we mentioned, they will take the vials they need to for your blood test, and that's it. And then if that's the only test you want, you're done.
And we have to say that health fair profile that includes all those tests is only $35.
$35.
And that's a deal.
That is a steal. Not even
A steal of a
That's
deal.
a steal of a deal. Absolutely, $35. And if people have an HSA, you can pay for this out at HSA.
Yes, we will take. Now, we do not accept insurance.
Right.
But if you have a health spending account, and most people nowadays, they get like a little credit card type card to pay for that. We can use those. We can use a credit card, a check, or cash. Yeah, any of those forms of payments are good.
So if you have a health savings account, you can use that for these tests because they are medical tests. These are actual, real, official, good tests that come back with real, official, good results.
Yes.
Actually done by hospital staff people. So it's not something that somebody on the corner says, "Hey, you want a health profile? Get it for you for $40." It might be a hot one. Anyway. But this is a great that health fair profile is the best. You mentioned bang for the buck. I think between that and the bone mineral density test, those are the two biggest bangs for the buck
Yes. Now
right
we
there.
also offer the bone density test. Some people refer to it as a DEXA scan. That is done at the hospital. You have to come out to the health fair and register for that.
Right.
The cost is $35, which is
minuscule.
Excellent
Well,
price.
yeah.
I mean, I have taken advantage of that myself. So
And I plan on doing it again this year. It's been 6 years since
has
I've
it?
done it.
Okay. So you go ahead and register for that. Do your other tests. We send you out to the hospital, to the radiology department, and they do that DEXA scan for you there.
So if you're limited on time, you're not going to be able to do that because you have to get that done at the hospital the same day. And there's a time limit that they give you. I think
Right.
it's like up till noon or something. You'll be able to get in there and get it done. But if you're really tight on schedule, probably can't get that done this time. Wait till next time, or get there earlier so you can get that out there. And they offer those bone mineral density tests right as soon as you open at 6. So once you get up there,
yes.
boom, get up there and you can take it to the hospital and take it to radiology and give them a
Yes,
little.
just take it straight to the radiology department. You don't have to stop at registration.
Right, just walk in and give them the little tag or whatever, sticker or whatever they had last time. I think they had a little card. So, so it'll be good. Anyway, $35 for that, and that is a steal.
It is a steal.
Yeah,
That's as good a well, maybe not quite as good a bargain as the lab test, but it's a really good bargain.
it's a steal. I mean, I know in St. Louis they did that to my dad. It was over $2,000 in St. Louis for that test. $2,000.
We don't charge that much at
No,
our
I
hospital.
know we don't here, but Mercy does. He lives in Chesterfield, so yeah, $2,000 for
Wow.
for a DEXA scan. I thought, ooh, next time you get one of those, I'll bring you down here. Much cheaper.
Much cheaper.
Of course, he was in rehab up there, so it's a
Yeah.
little hard to get that done.
Right.
Okay, but we have other tests for other types of issues that people can have that are very important tests that some people have to monitor very closely.
Right. If you're diabetic, a lot of times you have to have hemoglobin A1C, or sometimes referred to as a glycohemoglobin. You have to have that a few times a year to monitor your overall glucose values over an extended period of time.
Right.
So we offer that test at our health fairs for $15.
$15.
Yes, that's a good price.
That's a real good price.
Also, if you're worried about whether you could be diabetic or be pre-diabetic, that's a good test to have done.
It is. And it keeps it, and again, monitor those levels.
Yes.
We're talking about health fairs 3 times a year. You can go all 3 times, and you can actually just kind of keep an eye on your health every single test you get. Now, they're not always going to be the same numbers, and you wouldn't want them the same. That would probably look really unusual. But as long as you're falling within the acceptable levels, you're okay. You can kind of keep an eye. But if all of a sudden you see a gradual increase in something, every time it's going up, might be something to bring to the attention of your doctor. Say, I've had this, and I noticed when I was looking that this level of maybe my iron level continues to rise. That's kind of unusual, isn't it, doctor? Ask the questions.
Yes. Especially that hemoglobin A1C, if you monitor that, and if you watch it slowly it's going up, you know, you need to worry about metabolic syndrome or prediabetes. It's very important.
You want to ask about that and maybe change a few things in your lifestyle.
Yes.
Does happen. All right, thyroid test. And this thyroid test, a lot of people have problems with their thyroids, don't they?
They do, and especially as you get older, your thyroid doesn't function as well. And so, yeah, the TSH test, very important. That's the thyroid stimulating hormone. So that's a really good first-line screening test for thyroid difficulties.
Thyroid is such a weird thing because it can throw, when it's off, it can create all kinds of symptoms, can't it?
Oh, it can, and it can be really hard to pinpoint. That's why it's such a good screening test, because you could be losing weight, you could notice maybe more hair loss than usual, or you could be gaining weight, feeling tired, depressed. I mean, there's a lot of things that go along with the thyroid.
So again, for $15, that's a nice little policy to take a look at. Just see, how's my thyroid doing?
Yes, if I was only going to have two things done at the health fair, one would be the health fair profile, and the second would be the TSH.
Okay.
Definitely.
Very good. Now there's a test that's only for men. Ladies, I'm
Yes.
sorry, we're not trying to be, prejudicial.
And
I don't know why
this
you
isn't
want
like
to.
the hair color, just for men.
No. Well, you can use it. I mean, but it won't do anything for this kind of test. It's a PSA test for the prostate.
Yes.
Okay, and guys, if you're getting way up there in age, like 80, probably don't
You
need to take
probably
this
don't
test.
need it. But yeah, if you're over 40, it's probably a good idea to get this done once a year. Just to watch it. You want your results to be less than 4. And, if you notice that they're going up and up and up, it might be time to have it checked out.
Exactly. So the PSA test for guys, very, very important, especially for the guys in that, we'll say, middle age range.
Yes.
How's that?
That sounds good.
We'll do that. And then the urine microalbumin test.
Albumin.
That's what I said. Albumin.
That's what you said.
That's what I said. I tried to say it. It's not that easy to say.
I know.
Albumin. Albumin.
Albumin.
Oh.
Albumin.
Well, what's wrong with albumin?
I like albumin better.
It's a lot easier. Why is that a long U? Why is it booming?
It's booming because the hits here are so great. What can I say?
You should be a jock. The hits here are good, so we're booming right in. No, albumin. Albumin. Okay, so we'll go with that. Since you're the tech here, I'm not. So, but anyway, all right.
Okay, so that's a urine test,
Right.
and what we're doing is we're checking for small amounts of protein in the urine,
Okay.
along with the urine creatinine level, and then we check the ratio of those two,
Okay.
and that can help point out early kidney disease if that starts getting elevated. Something to look at. If you're diabetic, you need to have that done at least once a year. Because diabetics, one of the first organs that they have problems with are their kidneys, and it's a very good screening test for kidney disease.
And a lot of times, people talk, the waste that comes out of your system actually is so important. People
it
think it
is.
isn't, but it is, because it tells so many stories about your body, and that's why some people say, well, why would I want to do this? Well, when they do drug testing, they take it out of your urine. It shows. Everything shows in all the waste products that you have.
Yes, I mean, especially like you're talking about, like a drug screen, urine is the specimen of choice.
Right.
Because your body, your liver, breaks down, breaks down everything you eat or ingest, and those byproducts are excreted through the urine, and so that's why we test the urine for those.
And they know what those byproducts are. And when you have high levels of those byproducts, you're doing either something wrong or maybe something's going wrong with your
Exactly.
system. And so, and one of the things, Catherine, we talk about these tests, the urine test, the A1C, PSA thyroid test, they're each just $15.
$15,
The
yes.
total, if you bought everything, if you're a guy and you got all the tests, and I'm not including the free ones because they don't cost anything, all right? It's $130. That's
cheap.
super cheap.
That's super cheap.
And so you're getting way over $1,000 worth of testing done for
Yes.
$130.
Right. And if you're a woman, it'd be $115 if you had everything done.
Actually, 95.
The
60 and 35 is 95.
95?
Yeah.
Where did the 130 come from?
35 on top of the bone density. Oh, I'm talking about bone density.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
No, I'm sorry. So it'll be 150. You're right. Yeah. I was thinking
We had a little math
yeah,
problem.
No, I was thinking about the ones at the unit.
Oh,
Like,
yes.
Yeah. 95.
Offered at the health fair,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, 95. Okay.
Just the blood test,
Just
not
the blood
counting
test, not the bone density where you
not
have
the
to
bone
make that
density.
extra
Yeah.
trip. Yeah, and then if you only get those that are there, that's 80 for the ladies.
Yes.
If you don't get the PSA, which you
Yes,
shouldn't
good
get
deal.
anyway.
Yeah,
So-
you shouldn't get
Now,
that.
if you want to make a donation to the hospital, go ahead. But you don't have to do that. So, think about getting to health fairs. Again, that's Wednesday and Thursday, 6 to 9, not 5:40, not 9:25, 6 to 9.
6
and
to
I mean,
9.
And really, and the reason I hate to be sticklers, but you have to be, because a lot of the people who are there at the health fair are going to work. They have to be at the hospital and get to their regular shifts.
Yes, on top of what we do at the health fair.
Exactly. And so they have to leave at 9 o'clock or within the next 5 minutes. I mean, if they've got somebody walks in at 8:58, they'll take you.
Oh, yeah, we're
They'll
gonna
go
take
through
care
the whole
of you.
thing. If you walk in right at 9 o'clock, they'll do it. But 9:10 and 9:15,
We're
they're already
gone.
breaking down.
We're already gone.
So you just have to get there before 9, and but don't get there really early at 5 o'clock to wait in line. If you really want to, I guess you can, but they go through pretty quick. I mean, you can get your paperwork filled out. If Kathy doesn't have your email and couldn't send it to you, go to the smdh.net and print it off there. It's
yes,
there.
our website. Yeah, you can
Yeah.
get it off of the website also.
Absolutely. smdh.net. Go there, click on where it says health fairs, click it on there, and you get the form and print it off, sign it, check all the little things you need to check, and that's it. There's two
That
little
just
pages.
saves you a little time when you come in.
And write your check or bring your health savings account card or credit card or whatever you bring it. And get it all done. And like I said, once you get finished, be on your way and you go back to your regular scheduled duties of the day. But it is amazing our hospital is able to do this and provide this service. Again, it's a 2-day service in February, it's a 2-day service in May, and a 2-day service in September. And it's out of the Salem Community Center at the Armory. Kathy, I mean, it's pretty amazing that the prices have actually stayed pretty stable here. I know we had
They
to go
have.
from 10 to 15 on some of the tests, and that was, I think, done last year. But for the most part, and still the cost of these tests is just unbelievably low.
It is, and we try to keep it as low as we can. We haven't raised the prices in a while, so
Yeah.
almost every health fair I have somebody come in, and thank me because they don't have insurance, and so this is a way for them to get all of these much needed screening tests done at a really low cost, or people that do have insurance but they have a really high deductible.
Right.
And so, you're in good health and you're not going to be able to meet that $2,000 to $5,000 deductible, or you won't be. This is a great way to come in and get your labs done. Much
Right.
cheaper to pay $35 or more for these screening tests than when you go to the doctor and he orders them. It's going to cost you a lot more because you haven't met your deductible.
Right. And as we mentioned, it's just a good way to keep a good snapshot of your health on your own file at home. When they send the results to your home, you get a chance to look at them, digest them, and then you can take them to your doctor and say, okay, can you explain this to me? Ask the questions. I just can't get that through people's head enough when they go to the doctor and the doctor says, is anything wrong? And they shake their head. Well, what are you here for? Oh, I'm just getting a checkup. Okay, fine. But there had to be some reason probably why you went for that checkup. So talk to the doctor. Don't be embarrassed to talk to your doctor. You're not a doctor. You're not going to know the physician's terms for some of this, but if you have a bellyache, you have a bellyache. You know where that is, right?
Right.
Tell them. And when do you have that bellyache? Was it after you eat? Is it before you eat? Is it when you turn to the left? All these little things. You want to try and get as much information as you can. Well, this is part of that information now that your doctor will have.
Right, and we do also send the results to your physician.
If you want.
If you list your physician on the registration form, we will send a copy to them.
And that's great, and that does not cost you anything either. That's another freebie.
No, that's another freebie.
Son, I can't believe how many freebies you guys have. It's a wonderful situation to have with our hospital, that they take care of our community, and that's what this is all about. It's community. Kathy, one thing I want to just mention, I know you have to get going because you're shorthanded, but a lot of people we see here, they're older people, which are fine, and then I see middle-aged to older, a lot of people are, and I see younger people trying to sneak in a little bit, but this is good for your kids too. It's good for everybody. We
do have a few children, well, I'm going to call children, under 18, that do come to the health fair. Their parents bring them to the health fair.
You do have to have a guardian with you, right?
Yes.
To sign.
Yes,
right.
To sign. But these are good screening tests for kids too. We don't always have the healthiest of diets, and they're finding it more and more important to monitor cholesterol in children because their children are starting to develop high blood pressure and obesity at a much earlier age.
Yeah.
So it's important to monitor.
I think it's a great tool because I think most people think, well, children are healthy to begin with. I mean, we really do. We think children are healthy. They're not going to have any problems when they're younger, but that's not necessarily true. Children can have problems, and a lot of those can be diagnosed right by taking these tests.
Yes.
For a very small dollar figure.
Yes.
And if you catch it early, it's a lot easier to be able to reverse that trend. Such as, maybe you get all of a sudden a high sugar count. All right, let's stop this before it becomes a problem, right?
Right, and, the worst form of diabetes is diabetes type 1, which usually develops in childhood.
Right. So don't forget, the kids are just as important as anybody else. Bring them. Again, a guardian must be with them. You have to sign if they're under 18, and they have to sign for them. And, of course, they have to pay for them, too.
Oh, darn. Do we really?
Now, you guys give a lot of free stuff, but that's not free to kids. But and no discounts either because the cost of the test, it doesn't matter if you're 1 or 92. It sounds like a Mel Torme song, But, the whole idea is this is a very accessible health fair. It's easy to get to. There's plenty of parking. Get over to the community center at the Armory, 6 to 9 next Wednesday and Thursday. Kathy and the lab department will be there. You'll have radiology. You'll have cardiopulmonary there. You're going to have Jason will be there with his dietitian expertise, and ask him questions. He's there. Even if you don't take the BMI, ask him about diets.
Yes, he's there to help you.
And he'll answer questions. I might say, well, I'm on this kind of diet. He may grimace a little, but he'll tell you what the good or bad is of that diet. And so ask. And then I think Jason was there doing blood pressure last time from the emergency room. So
yes.
You'll have somebody there. If it's not him, it'll be a nurse or somebody. I'm sure will be there. And of course, then you've got the therapy people there doing a little balancing
physical
tests.
Therapy
right.
people, yes.
And my dad, who's had some issues here lately, has had to do balancing tests. And he kind of wonders why. And I said, well, that's the kind of way that they see that everything is working together, that you can stand on 2 feet and you can stay in one place, or stand on 1 foot for just a few seconds and make sure you don't tilt one way or the other. There's a lot of different things that are very important that we take for granted.
We take it for granted. We don't think it's important.
So that grip strength and balance test, they don't cost you a thing. And don't worry about going over there. And if hey, I've tripped over a pen before out there. So, if you kind of lose your balance a little bit, try it again. And maybe you never know. You just never know.
No, you don't.
Don't take the opportunity to find out how healthy you really are and let it go by the wayside because you didn't want to while you were there.
Right. And hopefully it will be warmer next week than it is this week. So.
Well, it's going to start out that way. Let's put it that way. We're going to be in the 60s on Monday.
Wow.
And Tuesday, going to still be in the 50s. And Wednesday, yeah, still 52 on Tuesday. So not too
no
bad.
excuse not to come.
Yeah, but I think Wednesday going to be a little cooler. But even for February, if you're in the 40s, that's not bad.
No,
Yeah,
it's the 1 and 2 degrees that.
It's like right now at 1. I'm sure we're at 2 now. Let's see if we get up to 2. We're 3.
Ooh,
oh, watch
it's a
out.
heat wave.
It is. All right. So anyway, 3, but it still feels like minus 11. But anyway, Kathy, always a pleasure for you to come in.
Oh, thank you.
You
I
know,
love coming
and
in.
the lab department does a tremendous job here at Salem, and we want to thank you. And I know that this puts a little extra burden on you with those the health fairs, but
Labor of love.
yeah, well, you do a great job. The whole lab department does a great job in getting those results back as quickly as possible. And so a lot of times it's within a day and a half or 2 days you might be getting those results. And if you say, bring the email, you set up the account at the
Yes.
hospital for your patient portal, you'll get them as soon as you guys get them.
Yes, you'll be able to log on to your account and get them immediately.
If you do have different issues that maybe you're not quite sure of, there is a history on these forms to fill out. So if you have high blood pressure or kidney disease, do mark it down.
Yes, please. That helps me a lot as I review the results and put them in the envelope. If somebody's TSH level is really high or really low, I glance at the form to see if they have a history of thyroid disease, or if their glucose is really high. I like to glance at the form and see if they know
Right.
that they're diabetic. So, it's really helpful for us to see if your results are consistent with your health history that you
Right.
give us on the form.
Right. Well, if you have high uric acid, you may have gout. And if you have gout, then that might be why your uric acid is
high.
9.8 or whatever it is. So, anyway, very good. All right, very good. So, if you would like to get out to the health fair next week on Wednesday and Thursday, they'd love to see you. And again, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. only. 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. All right.
All right.
Not early, not late. Please get there. And again, this will be the first of 3 health fairs, and the next one's in May. So if
Yep.
you don't get to this one, you'll have to wait. I
Then you
think
can come in May. It's
Right.
mid-May, and
it's
then
usually right after
mid-September.
graduation, I think.
Well, I don't know when is graduation this year. Do you
I think
know?
it's the 18th of May.
Okay, well, this is going to be on the 15th and 16th.
Okay, so it'll be right
of May,
before graduation.
Right before graduation.
Okay, I think it's on the 18th.
We wanted to have that before people leave on vacation.
Absolutely, because we know right after graduation,
They're gone.
exodus for many people for a week or so. Happened to me last year. I know that. The next morning, off to Hawaii.
Ooh.
That was nice. Let's do it again. I can't afford that. No. Probably won't happen that again for a while. But anyway, Kathy, thanks for coming in.
You're
Kathy
welcome.
Weldon from the SMDH Lab Department and the Health Fair coming up next week. Don't miss it next Wednesday and Thursday.